So let's do one big topic and then we'll do a game because I want to play games today too. We're gonna do topic, game, topic, game. Fuck, what were even our topics? So one thing I've started to see, and this is also from from talking to pro players and some of the coaches, and this is also just me sort of noticing like the trends of like what these characters do. But obviously that people discuss like overloaded kits, or you know, oh, they have reliable CC, they scale, they do champions do they're high mechanics champions that are like lower win rate and then they're higher in pro play. What I tried to think about were like what were like common themes, like really high level themes that champions provide a unique benefit for in pro play that you don't really see as much in normal play. And one of the really unique themes that I wanted to talk about is time. Champions that grant time, that have the ability to delay, the ability to stall a play, or basically when you're on comms with your teammates, when your teammates are able to communicate and come and help you, or able to collapse on you with quick TPs, rotate down, or more importantly, when a play is made and you can generate time for your team can then go and take an objective elsewhere. Also, a second point is on the reverse, champions that can deny time, that have a very easy way of saying you don't get to delay this play, you don't get something here, are really powerful as well. And to talk about two of those that do both, that generate time and deny time from the other team, are Galio and Lissandra. Great examples of this, and we see them as really high presence. And there are a million other reasons why a champion can be strong in pro play. Lissandra can delay for her team. She's very hard to kill and gank because she not only has her claw where she can move, she has CC, AoE CC around her, which can deny melees from damaging her. She has, and the key about time for Lissandra is typically around her ultimate. She can self-ult to buy time for her team to collapse or do something elsewhere, or to buy time for some other reaction from your team, or she can ult the other team to deny them access to that time. It's all about time, guys. Time is crazy. Another great example of time both generated and taken is I think Braum. Because of the defensive abilities of his W plus E, he creates a lot of time for his team, and actually his CC, like having that kind of consistent undodgeable CC. And Galio we didn't talk about, but Galio is, again, the time Galio generates is through his ultimate, right? Think about Akali. When you're in your W shroud for Akali, even if they hit you with their CC, they can't necessarily follow up with damage. I think we saw this actually in the TSM game.
Heal once again moving back down. Jensen going for round 2. If he finds a root, they can ult to chase Broken Blade. They're going to go in for this one, and he's going to run. Whoa, that's both ults and the flash burn, but he is out of this fight.
The champion Akali buys you so much time, buys your team so much time to react to the play and help you, or to go and take an objective elsewhere. Again, we also talk about the champions that deny your ability to have time. All of this shifts into why I really like the change coming up for Aatrox. Let's talk about it, because the reason why I like this Aatrox change is what it says is you only get the revive if you kill someone. It's saying, hey, we're going to make Aatrox stronger, but when he uses his ultimate, he only gets the revive if he kills someone. He has to basically fight here. He can't do the kind of like, it's basically like the beta Aatrox, the BB Trox play, where like, say you're in pro play and he gets ganked, and what he does is he pops his ultimate and runs away, and their choice is either, well, do we kill him, then he gets the revive and then keeps crawling towards his tower, or we try to wait out the ultimate to kill him, but he still gets to run. Like, that's not what Aatrox should do. Aatrox should ult and dive you and use everything to kill you, and as he kills you, the tower shots kill him and then he revives. That's the Aatrox play, and that's a way in which I think we specifically take out unique power in pro play. Because again, I'm not saying all of these champions, a lot of these champions can have strengths in pro play for other reasons. There's any number of reasons we can talk about for why a champion is stronger in pro play than in normal play, or why they're stronger in higher elo than in normal elo. What I think is a concept that's not talked about as much is that ability to buy time for your team. I think a lot of people want to hear what I have to say about Zoe. So after game 1, I want to talk about, this is not what the design team wants to do. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on what we should do for Zoe. Really? Just say yes. Like, all right, thank you. All right, cool. Wow.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
I should.
I want to talk, Zoe. I want to talk all the topics you have lined up. Those are
Oh
cool.
God.
No one's
All
here
right.
for your gameplay.
I want to leave. I don't want to do this now. All right, let's talk Zoe. What would you, if you were Riot, what would you do?
What's
about
like
Zoe?
the biggest problem with Zoe?
Oh my god, wow, that actually just fucking got my ass.
Skirt, baby.
Okay, so let's say you're in Riot's position.
Yeah.
What do you want to know about Zoe before you do anything? What would you want to know?
What would I know about Zoe?
What would you want to know before you do anything? Like,
why players hate Zoe so much, why there's such an outrage over Zoe, because there's a lot of other champions that do unfair things. Zoe isn't the only champion that does unfair things, but it seems like players particularly hate Zoe above other champions, so that would be what I'm most curious about. I think one of the rules that she fundamentally breaks that is really fucking bad is the W and E. The W, picking up multiple summoners and having access to multiple summoner spells is something that people fundamentally really dislike, and the rule, like, it should be somewhat limiting, but in high tier gameplay people have to use sums. Like in team fights, people have to use sums, and then when summoners are left over and Zoe can stay long enough in a fight, like initial part of the fight I don't think Zoe is that bad, but later half of the fight where there's
Like
a lot of
cleanup.
yeah, where there's a lot of flashes on the ground and she's able to pick up flashes. There's no other champion in the game where using a flash is bad. Like, well, you can use flash in wrong timings, but using a flash like directly gives her another spell to play off of and activates their W. And so I think that's like problematic, where like a natural reaction from a player when you're getting ganked is to flash, right? And is to like run away, but when you do that you get punished, so it feels really weird. So maybe like a internal cooldown on W, like you can use summoner spells in succession, but when you use the summoner, like it takes time for it to be till Zoe can pick it up. Maybe like 5 seconds till Zoe can pick it up. Say I used my flash, right? It's not available to Zoe for 5 seconds, like it's, or 5 or 3 seconds. It takes time for that
oh,
summoner
for it to show
fall on
up.
the ground.
Oh.
So like I flashed right away, and then Zoe following up with my flash can't, like that interaction can't happen.
That's actually a really good suggestion. I don't like her E and I like her W. And my reasoning for this comes down to like spells that are fun for one player and frustrating for another, like where the trade-off is. I think some of the biggest moments for Zoe come from really exciting W like usages. Like after a team fight, I think, well, it might be frustrating for Zoe to use all these summoner spells. I think that's like such a highlight for Zoe to use these summoner spells in really cool and creative ways. I think that's a super big highlight for her. So even if it's frustrating for the players against her, it's really exciting for her, and it's something new and unique in the game. I think her E is the most egregious for exactly that reason. I think the frustration her E causes, that delayed, oh my god, I'm gonna get fucked here, it drags out the oh my god, I'm gonna get fucked so long. I think it feels awful. If someone said in the chat, being forced to watch yourself die feels horrible. I think E should be on it. I think sleep as a concept should be on a support champion. I think sleep should enable your team to then do the amplified damage, not you personally. That's my take on it. All right, do you want to play a game before we do our other talks? Because I still want to play games today.
Okay. Let me see.
We're within enough elo to duo, right? What are you?
Diamond 4. What are you?
Plat 2. I think we can duo. Oh my god, I'm dead. Well, I got fucking works top lane because I was a greedy boy. Fuck me. I can't fight him anymore. I like the question marks though. Come on, I went for a play. It was a bad play, but we just
Alright, I came back.
we FF'd. Okay, well, back to the part everyone cares about, us talking about the game.
So
I
why
want-
is G2's playstyle good for League of Legends?
I like that they are, first of all, founded on a team that had a mid laner who swapped to bot lane, and actually, I know this tilts you, but has the ability to play things like mages or Yasuo bot lane, stuff like that. I think that's really good for our game when you have that kind of flexibility of playstyle. I'm not saying, Loco, that I like the just pure Fiesta, but I mean, like, think about it from Riot's perspective. We probably generally want a few things from like pro games. We want them to, and also from normal games, we don't want there to be a big separation from normal play and pro play. What I mean by that is lane swap meta was the most egregious case of this, because it was dominant in pro play. It was like the strategy, and yet you never saw it in your normal games. So basically, we like it when the game you play, your solo queue, at least somewhat looks like pro play. Obviously it won't, it's gonna be very different. But in general, I want pro play and solo queue to at least have some semblance of similarity. So that's number one.
There can be like semblance, right? But can it be a like pro play is more refined version of solo queue? Not that they don't have to look the same, but like the solo queue is, like when it upgrades, like it looks like pro play. Because right now, I would say pro play and solo queue look very different, and it's stylistic difference, not like level difference. Like
Yeah,
solo
I think that's exactly. I think you're exactly on it. It should be like a semblance. It doesn't have to be 1-to-1. Do pro players and/or the pro orgs recognize the benefits of having pro play be similar to like normal play, like a silver player's game?
They recognize the financial, so at the highest level, I'm sure they would recognize the financial benefits of it. But as a coach, as a player, or anyone beyond like an ownership level, they don't care enough, nor they agree. Like, my job isn't to make sure League of Legends is the most successful. Like, that is like a secondary job as a coach.
Right.
To make sure League of Legends is successful, League of Legends is the most played game, most watched game. Like, that helps my job a lot, but that's not my primary goal. My primary goal is to make sure my team has the highest win rate possible. If that means to play something disgusting like Sonateric and to draft Sonateric, if that's going to give us the highest win rate possible, even though it's going to be a shitty viewing experience, even though it's not going to be what fans want, that is least of my worries.
Right. I think one of the things where sometimes we'll come in conflict though is when so in a lot of ways I think pro players are like, so here's an example of where I think pro orgs are like in support of us then like removing funnel or removing like Sonateric, because they're like, oh, okay, now I don't have to, because you're right, their priorities are always that they like, whereas our priorities, we care less about whether a specific pro team or not wins, right? We care more about we obviously our care is for the health of the game globally across pro play, normal play, etc. Right? So for us, where it gets interesting though is when we have a conflict of interest like the like mages in the bot lane, which granted a lot of our players didn't like as well, but like let's put it this way, I feel like we could make a change that we know is better long term for the game, or feel is better, that pro orgs don't like, and there'll be that conflict of interest because it doesn't help, it goes against the style of their play or what they think will be best for their organization. I'm just pointing that out as like I could see that conflict arising.
Okay, well, for the bot lane thing, I know it's a common topic that we go back to, but it directly affected so many pro players, because as an AD carry player, that was never a skill you got tested on, and that was never a skill you developed throughout the years because you weren't expected to. Like, as a mid lane, you're expected to play different style of champions. As a bot laner, you're not expected to play different styles of champion, and you're not expected to get judged on it.
Right. And so instead of like, what if for us as Riot, we're like, well, we don't want the game to be about just learning marksman if you're a ADC player. And what if like the skill we actually value the most to see from pro players or like would want for league? I'm not saying this is the case, I'm just giving this as a devil's advocate. What if we like what Perks brings to the bot lane, where Perks can play marksman champions and is flexible, can play mages, can also play, Yasuo, etc. What if our ideal bot laner, you might not like it, but this is what peak bot lane performance looks like, is Perks, is someone who has that flexibility.
To get back into like the mages being bot lane, that happened in the middle of split without any kind of warning. So that's what was like so disturbing. Like, I understand that's what Riot wanted for a while, but it happened suddenly, and Riot's like, this is great, this is what we wanted. Like, and it was somewhat accidental, so it felt like kind of bullshitty, where it's like, you guys,
we didn't want it to have that big of an impact. I just want to quickly say it, but yeah, keep going.
Like, where it accidentally started happening. So for the people that didn't like it, it's like, this was an accident, like you guys didn't mean to do this, like what the fuck is this? So yeah, I think that's why that change specifically looked really bad.
What you've just been saying is exactly like what we came to in our retro of mid-season last year. The general direction, like the outcomes, were what we kind of wanted, but the manner in which we brought those to players were not only like did we like legitimately just hurt satisfaction of the marksman role, but secondly, the timing of it was so bad. And so that's actually why, if you noticed, for this year, like, I don't know when we made the dev announcement, but there's a reason why for this year we specifically said we're not doing a major mid-season patch. We're basically saying the major changes to the game are going to come during preseason. That's when we will, shake up the meta. That's when we will implement new changes, keep the game fresh, do more for League of Legends, bring it into the next sort of season. And then the rest of the season, though, is not going to be massive disruption. So the disruption will only occur at that point. And I actually really agree with you that I think going forward, especially because we have some really spicy changes coming for season 10, I think they're awesome, by the way. I've been playtesting them to the point where it's like, I sometimes wish I was like when I play solo queue, I like want to play on the version that we've been playtesting. So I'm personally excited, but I agree that like having a pro player summit and not just having them like see the specific changes, but for us to explicitly tell them our goals, like what we want to do with it. Even if they know we're not going to change it based on their feedback, even if we just tell them this stuff so they can prepare for it, I think that'd be really good for us.
Thanks for having me.
Loco, good talking to you. Thanks for coming on.